Do you feel tired or drained or feel like you've given all of your energy or your power away? Well, there's a phrase called call back in your power. And questions arise from that phrase. Well, how the frick do I actually do it? That's what we're talking about today on this episode. So stay tuned. I'm going to be giving you tips of how to visit where you've been leaking your power in the past, in the present, and how to move forward in the future. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeill. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. I'm going to go ahead and just dive right in. I'm one of those people that wants to cut through the fluff. And so I'm going to do that today. But cutting through the fluff doesn't mean not doing oracle card messages. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little of that too. I'll make it quick. So the first card I have here out of the Messenger of Spirit Oracle deck is You Are Worthy and Reassess What You Value. This is really key with calling back your power. I see a lot more women feel like they've given it away instead of retained it. And if you're feeling in resonance with that, then I'm talking to you. And then the next card I have here is divine timing. Let go of your timeline. Sometimes we give away our power when we are drained and tired because we have a goal and we feel like that goal hasn't manifested on the specific timeline that we want. So let's go ahead and get into it. So what does actually calling in your power mean? Calling in your power is truly remembering the badass that you are. It's remembering that you are a creator and a manifesting being, and that you've most likely given away your power to other people, to other situations, to other things. It reminds me of when you come out of the pool. Let's say that your power is this beautiful golden energy that's wrapped around you, right? So when you come out of the pool, you have this glow, you have this wetness that comes on your skin. But think about now that I'm drying off, my power is leaking. Now, when I'm walking, I see these little raindrops, these little water spots going everywhere. And eventually, I'm feeling this water evaporating. Well, your power can feel like it's evaporating too, but also kind of being thrown everywhere where you see the little wet spots everywhere. But a lot of the time, we don't know we're doing it. We're walking down our path. And if we were able to energetically turn around, we'd probably see these little spots of gold that was our power being scattered throughout our path. Some people have them on them because we gave it to them. And sometimes it's just being drained from us from decisions that we've been making and from our mindset. So calling back your power is truly calling back everything you've given, like giving your power away, decision making, your excess energy that you've given that you didn't really want to. Now, I'm not talking about where we devote time to our loved ones and to clients and when we give free sessions away and we feel really aligned to do it. I'm talking about those moments where they got a little too much of my energy. Oh my gosh, now I'm feeling exhausted. So we're calling all that back into center so that we can be this beautiful, vibrant being. And it's also a decision where we choose and say, I no longer am going to take part in giving my power away. I am making sure that my power is truly here and I only give energy, not power, but I'm giving energy when I choose to do so. So it is a shift where you are saying no more. And also, you are recognizing and realizing some of the patterns, maybe the way that you've been behaving that has given your power away. You are choosing no longer to take part in those. So, how do you know you're giving away your power? Well, I gave you some symptoms in that explanation. When you're feeling drained, when you are spending way too much time with a client that you didn't really want to give that extra time to, when you are not saying no, when you really don't want to do it, when you are forcing yourself going through the motions, when you feel like you are in scarcity mindset. I was just talking to a friend of mine and she was trying to make a decision be a yes, but her body felt nauseous and her feeling on it was no. And ultimately, she made the decision of no, which was the correct decision for her because her intuition was screaming at her. If she would have said yes, that would have been a situation where she would have been giving away her power. But we can give our power away to people, or we can give our power over to activities too. So here are some symptoms. When you let other people make decisions, when you say, I don't know, it's up to you. Now, there's a difference between compromising and just letting somebody have control all the time. If you are letting somebody run the show and you are taking a back seat all the time in your own life, you're giving away your power. Maybe you feel like a victim and you say, gosh, just things are just happening to me all the time. All these bad things are happening to me. Well, let's face it, sometimes there are things that do happen and it seems like, oh my gosh, it happens in threes or what is going on, like the what the fuck moments. However, when we just say things are happening to me, woe is me, I'm this poor person that, oh my gosh, that is being a victim and feeling like you have no more power to control any kind of situation. Now, there's a difference between trying to control everything way too much with your ego versus surrendering to spirit. I am talking about when we are complaining and we're feeling like nothing is working for us. Now, when you're not taking responsibility, that's a big one. When you are blaming things on other people or the situation or the timing, whatever it is, when you're not really taking responsibility for some of the ways that you could have responded, but you chose not to, or some decisions that you made, but you felt like you wish you would have made it differently, well, take responsibility for that. Now, if you feel like you're stuck in scarcity mindset and you are really afraid of things, like I'm afraid to invest, I'm afraid to change my life, I'm afraid to start my business, I'm afraid to XYZ. Those kind of scenarios feel like scarcity mindset instead of remembering that you are an abundant creator. So, for an example, sometimes as a business owner, we get stuck. Maybe we felt really excited in one of our offerings and no one is really buying. Well, we can easily get in scarcity mindset where we feel, oh my gosh, woe is me. Nothing I'm doing is working. I must have to lower the price or I must have to do all this other stuff that I don't really want to do versus remembering that you are freaking amazing. And when your energy shifts and changes, usually you start to see more clients come in. And a lot of it is our energy. Now, another symptom is not being confident in your intuitive abilities or your healing abilities, or you're afraid to step out and say, hey, world, this is what I do, and I'm freaking awesome. Or you're wanting to connect with spirit or to give readings or you want messages for yourself, but you just don't feel confident. Well, that's a sign that you're probably in scarcity mindset, but it's a sign that you're giving away your power. When you are not fully claiming your intuition and being in that confident mindset, when you're not confident about the future, you're scared because you don't know what's going to happen. That is a sign that you've given away your power and you are not trusting in yourself. You're not trusting in the decisions and you're not trusting in your spirit guides either. And that is truly important for you to trust that you can create, that you can manifest. Now, another sign is not feeling in alignment with money, so financial abundance or spiritual abundance. Maybe you have a love-hate relationship with money, or maybe you're somebody that just feels like money is not important at all. Now, that's a sign that you've probably been burned in some way as far as you made a decision that wasn't great, or maybe you grew up not having enough. And if you feel like money is an enemy, or money is bad, or you don't feel abundant in all other areas of your life, then that is a sign that you're giving away your power. Now, let's say that you feel like you're just spiritually not abundant and you don't have any joy in your life. Well, what is the root cause of that? Maybe you are overworking in your business. If you're overworking in your business, what can be happening is that you are giving away your power to your business and you're not remembering that you need to balance yourself. So, giving away your power. Being burned the F out. That is a sign of giving away your power, that you are spending way too much energy on something that is not in alignment, or you're not balancing your energy and you're spending too much of your energy and power in one specific area. Another sign is not knowing who the F you are, right? It's like, I don't know, I'm just this person and I don't matter. That is a sign that you're giving away your power. Feeling lost, feeling drained and tired, and feeling like no matter what you do, you won't make a difference and it's useless to try. We all go through ups and downs. This is not something to be ashamed of. This is only information for you to understand. Oh, wait a minute here. I've been giving away my power. All right. Sometimes when somebody says something to me and it speaks to my soul, but I don't want to acknowledge it, I'll either get kind of mad about it or I'll be like, whatever, you don't know me, but really like, yes, you do know me. So pay attention to your body, see how you feel, and see how you're reacting to that energy. So those are some symptoms, but now where do we go from here? I'm going to be giving you some tips about the past, the present, and the future to call back in your power when we come back after this quick break. As a professional psychic medium, I've done tens of thousands of readings, but I felt a call to move more fully into teaching intuition. But I still get so many requests about doing readings. So while I don't do readings anymore, I have brought in some very trusted colleagues who are now available for live 1 hour readings on Zoom. If you would like to book your psychic medium reading, go to messengerofspirit.com/appointments to see our available readers and schedule your Zoom reading today. Thanks for hanging in there. We're talking about calling back in your power. And the first part of this episode, I gave you symptoms of what it feels like when you're not in a place of power, when you feel like you've been giving it away. And now let's remedy that. So let's actually talk about the most immediate time frame now, and then we'll talk about the past and the future. So let's talk about the present right now. The first thing I want you to do is get out a journal or a piece of paper. And you might not do this right now on the podcast. You might listen to it first and then go off and do this exercise on your own. But I want you to identify your energy leaks. Where do you feel drained in your life? And I want you to write that question down on your journal. Where do I feel drained in my life? And then I want you to have a second question underneath it. The people and the tasks that I'm doing and the situations I'm in. So the people, the tasks that I'm actually doing, and the situations I'm in. The situation is just there in case people and tasks don't fit into the category. And I want you to really reflect to where you do feel drained. If there's an area of your life where you're doing tasks and you absolutely hate it, or you feel like there is somebody that is just draining your energy, but you feel bad telling them no or letting them go, or maybe it's a coworker, you just put it in there so that you have more information. Next question. Where do you feel like you've been giving away too much energy, time, and money? And then I want you to break it down again into people, tasks, and situations. Now, maybe there's an answer that doesn't fit any of those categories, but just write it down. Why are we doing this? Because knowledge is power. And I want you to do this evaluation of your energy for your life. When you do this evaluation for your energy, that is going to be really important so that you understand what is happening and what is truly draining your energy. And the next step I'm going to tell you is to now work toward a shift. So the next question you're going to ask yourself, what right next step can I take to stop doing this task, to minimize doing this task? What right next step can I take to stop talking to this person or to minimize the contact I have with this person? And you can ask yourself this. If it's a person who's very important in your life, you might need to talk to a therapist about this. And you can also ask your spirit guides and listen to your intuition. So whenever I pull oracle cards, I'm always shuffling and saying, what's the right next step for XYZ? So now that you've identified your energy leaks in the present, you can really understand what steps you may need to start taking to stop doing XYZ. And if you are at an impasse and you're like, I am truly blocked, I don't know how I can get out of this job, I don't know how I can move forward and do XYZ. One, I want you to shift into an abundant mindset and say, I am open to receive the possibilities of moving into my most abundant state, and just invite your mindset to be open to new possibilities and ask your spirit guides to create opportunities for you to say yes to that helps you get out of these situations. So now let's talk about the past. You could have given away your power in past lives, and we normally will see this energy through a cord, that you have a cord with another person that has lived a past life with you, whether they are in spirit or whether they are still living. And that cord is sucking out your energy. It is giving away your power. Also, there can be situations in your current lifetime from the past, interactions with people, how you grew up, what stories you learned, group environment teachings when you were in class or even at your workplace. Those situations when we were younger versions of ourselves can have cords, but we can also give away our power in that moment. I'm going to give you an example. It seems so silly, but it's true. When I was young, probably about 7 years old, I was taking dance class. And I was always a confident, exuberant dancer. And I got up on that stage. And one of the things that I remember was that the teacher was having us shake our hips for a certain move. And she was kind of complaining that we weren't really shaking our hips. So when it got time for me to go out on stage for our performance, to everyone, I swung those hips back and forth and back and forth. And I still have a video of this. And the video was panning from the left, and you can see that most of the dancers are just kind of going through the motions. And then all of a sudden you see me and I am swinging my hips and the whole crowd was laughing. Now, this wasn't bad laughter. It was like, oh, that is so cute. That's so fun. It wasn't anything bad, but I perceived it being bad. So in that moment, I gave away a lot of my power because I stopped feeling really confident and I didn't want to be in the spotlight anymore because I didn't want to be made fun of. So that was an example of how I gave away my power. And then what happens when I grow up and I'm older? I was a child who was developing more quickly than most of the other girls in the classroom. So I became noticed and I was very embarrassed because I'd already been through a situation where I didn't want the spotlight on me. And so then instead of getting out of it and breaking free and just owning my body and being confident, what did I do? I shrank even more. That's an example of giving away my power. So this lasted with me up until adulthood, until I went through situation after situation to finally say, stop. I'm calling back in my power. And I am me, and I don't give a fuck who doesn't like me. And this is me. I'm not a bad person. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be different. So I'm sharing these stories with you as an example so that you can go through your childhood, your adulthood, even, and find where perhaps you feel like you've given away your power to other people and letting other people's judgment control you. That's just one situation, but there are plenty of others that go back to the other symptoms as well. Feeling drained and tired. Maybe you are told that you have to work all the time, that you have to always put other people first. And maybe you were taught never to put yourself first. I know that that was definitely one of mine, and I have worked on it. And I feel very confident in that lesson. So I want you to take that journal and write down what areas in my life have I given away my power? And then I'd love for you to also ask, what past lives do I need to be aware of where I've given away my power? Call on your spirit guides, call on your higher self, go into this meditative state and see what comes up and jot it down. With every situation that comes up, I'd like for you to intuitively connect in, visualize that situation, and just see how many cords exist between you and that situation. You can send healing through these cords, ultimately intending that they dissolve and release and remove the cords. And one of my favorite things that I teach inside of Intuition Abundance Academy in my 4 intuitive languages framework through the past life meditation is that after you've removed the cords, it's important for you to rewrite the experience. So for me, I would ask myself, what outcome would I have wanted up on that stage? And I just let my soul respond. So my soul is going to respond in the same way that I would have been up there shaking my hips. Everybody can laugh. And instead of me feeling shame, feeling confident and knowing that it was okay to stand out. And it was okay to be the best dancer on the stage. That kind of mindset where I know that I'm doing something right versus trying to fit in with everybody else. Finally, let's move into the present and the future at the same time. Because before you move into the future, you want to do these techniques. And I want you to set your intention. And your intention can be an affirmation. I want you to say this out loud, write it in your journal, and say to yourself, say to your spirit guides, say to the universe. And I do this in a big booming voice so that it is powerful. Because if you're going to say this affirmation in a very shy voice or you're afraid of your family hearing you, it's really not going to work because it defeats the purpose of calling back your power, right? Calling in your power is powerful. And so saying an affirmation or saying the statement, I call back all the power I've given away. I call it back to me. I call my power back to the center of who I am. I am powerful. And see and visualize bits and pieces of that golden energy and that gold power coming back to your being. See it as the reverse, like you're rewinding a movie picture of a shattered glass where all the pieces come back to make this beautiful vase. And that is where I'm going to leave you today. I will drop the link to the Intuition Abundance Academy waitlist in the show notes. And I will be back next week with a brand new episode. But until then, here's to staying powerful, spiritual, and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.